let's have a look at the new model here, our first look. This is called the TS710, so 7-day, 1 channel, and there is another version of this which is the 720, 2 channels, and that could be for S-plan, typical hot water zone valve, and another one for heating, or just 2 heating zone valves, whatever. It's 2 channels. It's going to need a room thermostat. This is our pretend boiler, wiring center, because we always use a Danfoss wiring center in here because basically it's fault-free, error-free, and it's easier to do. And so we live on this basically. And then later on I'll show you how to wire up 1 zone, and 2 zones is just a mirror image, depending what you want, whether you want to break up the heating into 2 zones or have 1 zone for heating and 1 zone for hot water, sometimes known as an S-plan. I'll also show you how to change this mechanical room thermostat into digital, because that's much sharper, much better, and people prefer digital. You can actually see the temperature, and then we'll go through all the different wiring scenarios. So first of all, location. I would recommend the programmer to be somewhere in the hallway, so as people leave the house they can press the button and the system shuts down, and when they come into the house they can press the button and bring it back on again if it's not on automatic. So I'll go through those parameters later. The room thermostat obviously is going to be in the lounge where we want precise temperature. If you put this in a cold place, which sometimes installers do, in the hallway for instance, then the system will be out of control and cost a lot more money to run, because this is going to reflect a cold area. As soon as you open the front door, this will switch on the boiler and your gas bill starts rising. So that's why we put these in the lounge. I always recommend that, and that's the cheapest way. So let's have a look at the wiring behind here, and I'll go through each wire, what it does and why it does it. So first of all, we're just going to turn the electric off so we can remove the front fascia. So now I've taken off the front fascias and we can see the wiring, how it's done. So as we can see here, we need a permanent neutral and a permanent live, which we get from the wiring center. So on the Danfoss one we get 6 earth, 6 neutral, live at the top, which is also linked to 11. And we've also got a couple of spare ones, number 1 and 5, in case we need more live wires and there's no room here. So first of all, that's the 2 wires we're going to put into this side, these 2 terminals. Then you can see the 3 by themselves. So they're called common, that's the voltage in. Normally closed, that's off. And normally open, that's switched live, because some manufacturers use common and switched live. Others in controls, they tend to say common, normally closed, normally open. But really, that's the business, that's what we're looking at. So if we go through the system, we end up at the room thermostat. And again, it's a mirror image. These 3 terminals are these 3 terminals. One is called common, one is called closed, and one is normally open. So we're interested in the common and the open, so it happens to be here. So what will happen is, because we need this permanently fed, we take a permanent feed from L line into the common switch. So it's always there when we press the button to fire up or switch off. So that's always live, as it were. So now when there is a demand, this grey wire is going to go down into the wiring center. And it's very easy to find out why and where, because it's along here. And it says here, if you want the heating to come on, it goes to number 9. There you are. It's no difficult than that. Programmer 9. There's a link here from 9 goes over to 3. 3 then goes in to the room thermostat. And this is called now the common wire. And there we are, we've gone into the common terminal of the room stat. Any room stat is going to be exactly the same. One wire has to leave that room thermostat. So remember, some people call it switched live, other people call it normally open. But in any case, that wire there, whatever colour it is going to end up here somewhere. So if we look along here, we've got heating and hot water number 6, orange. So the orange they're talking about is this orange wire. So all zone valves, diverter valve, all the motors, and I think throughout the industry, they have an orange wire. So that's the orange that they're talking about. This is just a coincidence. We're just using orange wire. Goes to 6 to make it easy to use. From 6, we then take a link into 12, because in the world of Danfoss, the boiler goes into 12. So if it's a back boiler that just has a live neutral and earth, that brown wire live will go to 12. But if it's a combi boiler which has a permanent live, so that would be either 11 or at the top, or it's going to have a switched live as well, so that switched live will go to 12. So the room thermostat and the programmer switch it on, hence switched live. So I'm going to put all the fronts back on again, switch it on, and then we'll go through the settings. If it's the 2-channel one, so you can see that here, all you've got is an extra on and off. So you've got an extra one, 2 for hot water, 2 for heating, on and off. Common and switched live, which is called normally open. But apart from that, it's exactly the same in that respect. So let's put the fronts on and proceed. So now we've powered back on again. I've turned the room thermostat to off, no zone valve. The programmer says central heating off. All I've done is switched it and powered it up. I haven't changed any of the parameters or the date and the time. It's not 22 minutes past 3, it's not a Wednesday, etc. It doesn't matter. First of all, to test the system or the wiring, then all I'm going to do, I need to select the central heating on. So I press the button there, the cursor, and then I can go back to see central heating on. 1 hour extra or automatic. Well, obviously we're going to need to have central heating on, and we'll okay that one. Okay, and we've got a neon that's come up and say it's in the heating mode. Now, to test whether my combi boiler is wired into the switched live via the stat, I simply turn the stat up. And there we are, it responds. The boiler fires up. So far so good, but we haven't finished yet, because first of all we have to turn it off to make sure that it does come on and it does come off, and then we do it a third time. So it's quite fiddly, but we have to do this, and on our Thursday wiring course we show you even better ways to do this, but this is a nice simple way. So it's now back on, and I want to test the programmer, so I'll switch it to there, put to heating off, and then okay that goes out, and that should go out. So therefore that proves my wiring is perfect. The first thing that we need to do on the new programmer is to personalize and set all the parameters up. So the first thing we have to do is make sure that the calendar is correct. And we do that by pressing OK and holding. So we just do that for a few seconds. Screen lights up, and then we've got the year. So we can either go down to 19, 18, 17, or we can go up, and so whatever it is, we'll stop at 2020, we'll okay that. Now we're looking at the month, same procedure. If we press and hold, it'll just quickly roll stop, quickly roll stop, quickly roll stop, and we can just do one more. So we'll call it that month there, we'll press OK. Day of the month again, press and hold, it'll roll forwards or backwards and just stop, and we press OK there. What time of day it is, so it's either 16 hours or so, because we can change that to, let's for example saying it's lunchtime, we'll okay that, and how many minutes past 12 o'clock, it's 16 minutes past, we okay that. And there we are, that's the clock and the time, and it automatically changes the date, the time as it is now. So the next thing we want to do is which mode it's in. So we press this one, the central heating one, and it starts to flash. And again, we've got central heating off, automatic, so that's the built-in programs, which we haven't changed yet. What they are in default are 6:30 in the morning to 8:30, 16:30 to 22:30, which we can change. But anyway, that's automatic. That's an extra hour of heating or zone, whatever we want. Next we've got permanently on, which is a lot of people use that and just live on the room stat, and then we've got permanently off. So we'll select permanently on and okay that, and that's it. That's the programmers, and we'll cover the other parameters in the next section. The parameters of the system is our fine-tuning the way we like to live. To access those, we press and hold the 3 bars. So we just press it in, it responds straight away, and straight away it goes into P programs. So P102 is the default ones. So this is how many times it switches on per week, and this is twice. It's telling us Monday to Friday is one lot of settings, and Saturday and Sunday are different settings. If we go down to 1, now this now tells us it's all 7 days. So Monday to Sunday, it's the same program that we can put in. If we go to 2 is the default, 3, this is now each day is separate. So you've got 7 ins and outs each single day. So the default one normally is number 2, Monday to Friday and Saturday and Sunday. Now position 2 is default number 2. This is how many times a day, and it's saying it's doing twice a day, the morning lot and the evening session. If we want it 3 times a day, there we are. So it's morning, lunchtime, mid-afternoon and evening session. Or if we want, we just go to 1, and that'll now start from 6:30 till 10:30 at night, 22:30, or whatever we want to change it to. So normally people have it on twice a day. We'll okay that. Parameter 4 is whether you want it 24 hours or 12-hour clock. So normal, that's the 24-hour clock, and that's the AM and PM one. So normally it's on 1, and that's it. So it's a 24-hour clock set in. Number 5 is daylight saving, so obviously we're going to have that, and that's already pre-programmed. We can switch it off if we wanted to. If we make it to an OK it, then it won't change as the calendars go back and forth in the summer and autumn. So that'll do there. We'll press OK. P settings is only for your Danfoss service engineer. He would have to call the factory and get a special code, and that would then set up your service intervals, which is absolutely crucial, because if your boiler has a 5-7 year guarantee, to maintain and keep it alive, you need to make sure that it's checked and serviced every 11 months by a registered gas installer. So anyway, we'll just go back. You get about 20 seconds there. So we'll just go back to P1, OK, P2, P3, P5, P7 is, as we said, we went down there, so that's OK. P8 is where you can reset it or reselect it, etc., etc. So we'll OK that, and then to come out, we just simply press the 3 bars, and there's our main parameters that we want to change. To change what time of day it switches on and off, then we select the 3 bars, and it says set the central heating, yes. So do you want to change it from Monday to Friday, or do you want to change Saturday and Sunday? Well, we want to do Monday to Friday, so we'll OK that. So do you remember the factory tells us it's coming on at 6:30, though I might want to change it to 7:30. And then I'll OK that, and the same thing with the minutes. You know, I can go forwards or hold it and roll it, or 7, so I can have it on 7:39, 7:40. OK, so that's the first on. So now the first off is at 8:30, so that's a bit early. We'll have it off at 9:30. We can OK that. 9:30 is fine. We can do that. And because we programmed it for twice a day, it's now the evening session. 16:30, 4:30 is a bit early. I'll have it on at maybe 18:30, for example. Boom, we can do that. The minutes we can change by going backwards and forwards, and that's the second time it comes off. And finally, last thing at night, it's going off at 10:30. I'm happy with that. That's not a problem. We'll OK that, and the minutes are fine. And then, do I want to change anything Saturday, Sunday? Exactly the same procedure. We can say no, I want it coming on earlier. OK. Our minutes are OK, that's OK, 9:30 is OK, 16:30 is OK, etc. To come out, just press the top, and we go back to the real time. And that's how we change each hour, whether it's Monday to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or each individual day. And then all we have to do now is to press the central heating off mode. We can go back to central heating on. We can OK that one, and it's now set to come on 24 hours of the day. Only the room stat is in control. We're always looking to save money and increase comfort levels. So one component we can look at first of all is the most important one, the room thermostat. How old is it and where is it? So some people install them in a cold hall thinking that's good. No, it's not, because it's simply going to cost you more, because it's going to take longer to heat that hall up. The location is in the lounge where people sit. The second problem there, of course, is old age. Eventually turning this up and down will wear out those contacts, and it will then overshoot. They all do. Doesn't matter who makes it. It's just the way thermostats, the old-fashioned ones, work. And you can dial 18 degrees, but this will keep the heating on till 22 degrees or even higher. So that's a key component that we can change. Now with this programmer, very, very simple. All we need to do is to take the power off. So we'll press and hold CH and go into holiday mode. There we are, there's our suitcase. So now all we need is a small screwdriver, put it underneath and remove. And the one that we're going to put in is this one here. This is a RET 2000B because it's battery powered. And it's also got some extra fuel saving features here on the top, so check these out with the instructions. So what we're going to do is to hang this one on the same back plate, but even if we had to change the back plate, it isn't that difficult. But we're going to hang this one back onto that back plate and then test the system again. Now to add a new zone valve or two zone valves, we need to take this off and rearrange those. So if we follow the sequence, we've got here the 4 wires. So I've put in the blue to save time because it has to go there. So now we've got a grey wire, a brown wire and an orange wire. So if you remember, it said here under these ports, orange wire goes to 6. Well, so we need to take this one out from this 6 and put that into number 2. And put that into there, so we can put the orange wire into 6, because that's going to fire up the boiler. So in Mr. Combi training world, everything to do with the electrics is orange, because that is the middle of the system. So if I've got voltage here, that tells me that the diverter valve has moved over okay. So we've got 2 more wires left. So we've got the grey. So if we look on, grey says 7. So the grey will go to 7. So we can put that in its place. Tighten it up. And then the brown one goes here at the end to power up. So once that's done there, so this is now come from the programmer into the stat, out of the stat, makes that live and moves that over, which is connected to the 12. So what we'll do is we'll plug it back in again, new thermostat in its position. What I've done here is I've just got a spade connector and plugged it in to make it a little bit easier and more visual to watch. So to take it off there, we simply press the CH button to bring it back into operating mode, and it's on heating on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now the next thing is to press the upper position arrow and look for the 3 flames. So as you can see, another hot day in paradise in beautiful Bedford. So eventually that brown wire carrying voltage will move across, transfer over the micro switch to the orange wire. That voltage, 230, will energize the boiler live or switch live, whichever terminal makes it actually fire up.